What if the Bible you know is only half the story? Censored Gospels, lost manuscripts, forbidden teachings. This is the other side of Christianity. Subscribe now and join us as we uncover the hidden text that could rewrite history. Censored Bible, the erased texts that would change everything. Since the earliest days of Christianity, a series of theological, political, and institutional decisions shaped what we now know as the Bible. Few people realize, however, that the current version of Scripture is only a selection of books considered inspired by church leaders in certain councils, such as the Council of Carthage, 397 AD, and the Council of Trent, 1546. But what if I told you that many other texts once existed, were widely read by Christian communities, and disappeared? Yes, they disappeared. Some were destroyed, others hidden, many censored. What did these texts say? And more importantly, why were they erased from the official history of faith? In this book, you will discover the writings that were suppressed, the hidden Gospels, the apocryphal books, and the lost manuscripts that could completely change your understanding of God, Jesus, and Christianity. Let us begin with the deuterocanonical books, which today appear in the Catholic Bible, but were removed from Protestant versions. Works such as Tobit, Judith, Wisdom, Baruch, Sirach, and 1st and 2nd Maccabees were considered inspired for centuries. But Martin Luther, during the 16th century Reformation, declared them non-canonical. These books contain doctrines, stories, and values that reinforced Catholic traditions such as prayers for the dead and the importance of ancestral wisdom. We then move on to the apocryphal Gospels, texts that circulated among the earliest Christians but were labeled heretical or dangerous. Among them are the Gospel of Thomas, a collection of 114 sayings attributed to Jesus, suggesting a more mystical and inward path to salvation. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, portraying Mary as a spiritual leader and intellectual companion of Jesus, sparking debates about the role of women in the church. The Gospel of Judas, where Judas is not the villainous traitor, but the only disciple who truly understood Christ's mission. These texts, many discovered in Nag Hammadi, Egypt in 1945, reveal a Christianity far more diverse than what we know today. They reveal a more philosophical Jesus, preaching inner enlightenment instead of ecclesiastical structures. Next, we have the manuscripts cited in the Bible itself, but no longer extant. Books such as the Book of Jasher, the Book of the Wars of the Lord, the Prophecies of Ahijah, the Shilonite, the Acts of Solomon. These documents are mentioned in canonical texts, but simply vanished. Were they myths, or were they deliberately eliminated? And it does not stop there. There are also passages omitted or modified in ancient manuscripts. In the Codex Sinaiticus, for example, key verses are missing, such as, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." The story of the adulterous woman, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone." Were these passages later additions, or were they deliberately removed from earlier editions? Scholars still debate this to this day. In the end, the history of the Bible is also the history of choices. What to include, what to exclude, what to canonize, and what to conceal. And these choices were made by men with intentions, beliefs, and often power. If all these texts had been preserved, what image of Jesus would we have today, and of God, and of the Church? One thing is certain. The Christianity you know is only one possible version, and perhaps only a shadow of what it truly was. Now that you know, what will you do with this information?